Now with your card and adapter installed in your Relay 1200, switch it on and it should boot to the Workbench screen without any problems. Insert the floppy disk into the drive and load up directory Orbis. Right click the S button to get the device list up and display your partition. Highlight the install disk ADF and then click on Archive Extract and press OK to write the image to the disk. When it has finished writing, eject the disk and enable write protection, then put it back in the drive and reset the Amiga. As you can see, the disk begins to boot, but resets before you can see anything on screen, and then boots up again. This is the updated SCSI device driver being loaded, so bigger disks than 4GB are read correctly. The same will happen on your finished compact flash drive on each gold boot. Once the Workbench screen loads, load up HD Toolbox and select your disk and click on Change Drive Type and define New. In the file name box, enter RAM : at the start of the line so the drive definitions are not saved to the floppy disk. Then click on Read Configuration. As you can see, reading the card in real hardware gives you a completely different set of values. If you compare them to what was reported using the PC, you can see exactly why so many people end up with all sorts of errors later on. Go back to the main screen and click on Partition Drive. Click Add Update, then Add New File System, and enter the PFS3 file name into the box and press OK. Then change the DOS type string as seen. Next, click on Change, then Custom File System, and again set the values to match what you see on screen. Move to the partitioning screen and make your partitions the way you want them. To be safe, make sure the first partition is completely within the first 4GB of the drive and use that as the boot partition. Give your partitions sensible device names. I always use a standard naming convention that the install disk uses by default, which is DH0, DH1 and so on. When it comes to setting the buffer size for each partition, bear in mind every buffer uses 1KB of memory, so if you use 100 buffers per partition and have 4 partitions, that will take 400KB of free RAM as soon as you boot up your system. This isn't a problem if you have plenty of fast RAM, but if you only have the standard 2MB chip RAM, you should lower this to something like 50. For each partition you create, you must click Change and then set the custom file system settings again for that partition. When it comes to the final partition, remove 8 to 10MB from the allocated space for that partition. This will leave a safe buffer just in case the geometry readings are slightly out. When sizing your partitions, directly alter the total cylinders box to get the desired size. Do not attempt to use the slider as that gets confused after you have allocated the first 4GB of space on the disk. When you are happy, exit the partitioning screen and save the changes to the drive. Then reset the Amiga and boot from the installed disk again. You will now have all of the partitions you just created on the Workbench screen. From the menu, select Execute Command and type in PFS format device DH0. This part should be self-explanatory. Then add Name Workbench. This will set the volume label of DH0 to Workbench. The volume label can be anything you want it to be, and you can easily change it again later if necessary. Next, add no icons so the trash can will not be used, and then most importantly add quick to finish the command line so only quick format is performed and then press enter. If we were using shell, the command prompt would return once the format was complete, but since we are not, it won't. Instead, look at the drive icon, and as soon as its name changes to the label you gave it, then the format is completed. The bigger the partition, the longer it will take to initialize, so be patient if you are creating massive volumes. Repeat this for every partition you have created. Don't forget to change the device number and the volume label as well. Now we set the file name size limit to finish off. PFS3 can use a maximum of 107 characters for file names. To set this, we simply type the command setfnsize, the drive name, and then 107 to set it. Repeat this for each partition and then we are done. When windows are opened, you can see the disk size information is incorrect. This is a problem in Workbench 3. To correct this, you will have to use an alternative operating system such as OS 3.9, DirectX 5 or Scarlos. Just remember that whatever operating system you use, you must patch the SCSI device driver. As a final check, reboot to your Amiga and hold both mouse buttons to enter the early startup menu. Click boot options and you should see all of your partitions with PFS3 listed as the file system. In part 4, we copy Classic Workbench back onto the card and fix up the SCSI device driver in the startup sequence. Then we rename the Kickstart ROMs, freeze with WHD load and demonstrate it working back on our Amiga. Thanks for watching part 3.